Hi, everybody. So, today for Black History Month, I would like to do a quick review. I think it's probably just going to be a short review of The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor. I'm going to say it's Lavalle, not Laval. Lavalle. I think it's Lavalle. Um, Victor Lavalle is a New York based writer, and he's won accolades and Stoker nominations, and he's quite well lauded. And I meant to read this book actually during my following uh, series, but I figured I could save it for Black History Month. And it's a reimagining and response to Lovecraft's The Horror at Red Hook. Now, I'm not a Lovecraft fan. I don't like the tone, I don't like the style, I don't like how many people just put him up on a pedestal. And the Horror at Red Hook is, oh boy, oh my. I think it was one of the first Lovecraft stories I actually read all the way through, and it was recent, and I was really appalled at the way that it portrayed basically anyone with more melanin than an Irish sunburn as some sort of creeping death cult, horrifying, subhuman, just terrifying animal. And I mean, New York City in the 1920s, that's where like most of the immigration happened. I'm sure if you talk to anyone with an immigrant family that came over at that time, they were quite proud working class people who were the foundation of a whole lot of 20th century America. So what the hell, Lovecraft? What is wrong with you? And I read that Lovecraft was he lived in that area because he was poor, and he just hated it. So the poors and the brown people, ooh. So Victor Lavalle wrote The Ballad of Black Tom as a response, actually from the point of view of a Black person living in Harlem in the 1920s. And so it's a story of a grifter by the name of Tom who finds himself running errands for the kind of high society mystic that Lovecraft liked to write about. And there's a couple of pretty amusing parts where he brings Miss Ma at. I mean, okay, the puns are a little bit obvious too, but kind of amusing. He brings her this sacred book, and he tells her he got it at the Victorian Society, and she's all excited. She's like, "Can you get me in there?" And then when he actually goes, he's looking around. He's like, "This is a tea room. What are we doing here?" By the way, the food sounds absolutely delicious. So there's a lot of really amusing little things when we're in Tom's story. And then it quickly gets much darker as his father is murdered by cops, which we're unfortunately familiar with in society, and nothing's changed in 100 years. So after his father is murdered, Tom starts to learn the secrets of this family, or this high society guy, Suyudam, that he has connected with, and he sort of started just playing music for them, but the guy started teaching him these dark secrets, and it's how to jump into parallel places in the universe. And Suyudam moves in a bunch of immigrants into these office buildings. So of course we can't have that. Ooh. And the cops don't know what to do with it. So one night they go in there, and there's just, a slaughter. And then the perspective shifts away from Black Tom when Black Tom jumps into what's probably another universe or a parallel dimension or something. And sorry about that. There was a guy going by and doing some work in the apartment across from mine. So sitting here in the car, I'm just about to have breakfast, but this guy's working back and forth, and I don't really want to try to explain what I'm doing here when I'm talking. So anyway, so it shifts perspective to a cop named Malone, and that is the perspective of the original story, is what happens to Malone. And like most Lovecraft stories, guy goes someplace, sees a bunch of stuff that terrifies the crap out of him, barely makes it out, and then gaslighting ensues. Everyone tells him he's crazy. So this is what happened with Malone. He went to an office building. There were a bunch of brown people running around doing something he didn't, he thought was evil and terrible. Bunch of cops showed up, started shooting. He went down the back way. Saw Suyadam apparently resurrected. Suyadam and his wife both died a second time. And then Lilith showed up and everything got really crazy. And then he barely made it out. I don't know. It's a strange story. I might actually read it as a, let me read you a story. So the Ballad of Black Tom leaves out the Lilith stuff and kind of tells you what is going on with Suyadam. And then we get back to Tom. And of course, everything kind of goes crazy. And yeah, it's, I think the last act falls apart a little bit, probably because it is aligned more with Lovecraft. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. The writing's good. I really enjoy the Black Tom character. I wish that we had stuck with his perspective and what happens to him rather than changing to Malone. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It's an entertaining read, and it's only like 150 pages, so it's a quick read, and it's a nice counterbalance to the horror at Red Hook, which is just, I mean, it's Lovecraft at his most awful. And I enjoy that a writer like Victor Lavalle is doing something about it, telling a story that, is in response to something that really is uncomfortable. So anyway, that's my review. I hope you're reading lots of great horror. Have a great day.